Hey, Mike here. I wanted to take off my guitar player hat and put on my public safety hat. I've been involved in the public safety field for a long time, 45 years, and I'd like to talk about traffic safety, something everybody's interested in, I'm sure. What I've come to believe over the few years is that an awful lot of people are out on the roads these days who have never been taught to drive properly. I attribute this to the lack of driver's education in the schools. That's one of the first things cut when the budget comes up. And as a result, a lot of people are learning to drive from their friends or whatever, and their expertise may be sketchy at best. We have a lot of immigrants in the country, and many of them are coming from places where not much of anybody drives, and all of a sudden they're thrust into the situation over here where driving is a necessity, so they get perhaps one of their friends who managed to get a license and to teach them, and so this cycle kind of continues, and you get people who don't know the basic rules of the road, or they got enough of the basic rules to get past that driver's license test, but they never learned the driving culture that folks of my age all learned as a kid. Examples of that might be things like, it used to be that if you saw somebody driving down the road at night that had not turned his headlights on, all you had to do was flash your own headlights, and immediately the guy, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't turn my headlights on. Yep, you turn them on and all would be well. Same thing if he had forgotten to dim his brake lights. If you flashed your brights at him, well, bing, he'd immediately turn his off. Very apologetically, not anymore. People, you can do these things until you're blue and will not get the slightest response from other drivers. They've never been taught these things. They don't know about them. So what I want to do, I want to have a little series of things here using my high-tech visual aid to talk about some of the things that I see going on that are basic mistakes that cause a lot of accidents and a lot of trouble. And hopefully somebody will look at these and say, oh, I'm doing that, maybe I shouldn't do it anymore. So what I want to talk about first is probably the most basic rule of the road, and that's the right-of-way. That's a term that everybody's heard, and probably not too many people can explain if you ask them to articulate it, but it's actually very simple. If a car is going down the road, like the blue car here, that's George. George is proceeding down the road. He has the right-of-way. Okay, other traffic is not to do things, not to engage in actions that would cause George to slam on his brakes or dodge off to the side or whatever. He should be allowed to proceed unimpeded by the actions of other drivers. If Freddie here is entering the roadway from another street, he should be careful to either allow sufficient room for George so that George doesn't have to brake or swerve or anything, or he can wait till George goes by and pull in behind him. Either way is acceptable. It's safe. But he may not, of course, pull out in front of poor George and cause George to come screeching to a halt or have an accident. That's failing to yield the right-of-way. And it doesn't matter if Freddie here is making a left turn, it's the same thing. If he makes a left turn directly in front of poor George, it's the same thing. He's failing to yield the right-of-way. It's not only dangerous, it's illegal. You shouldn't do it. This sort of thing seems to confuse a lot of people. I don't know why that is. On my street, if we'll reverse this, this is now a driveway, and here's Mrs. Freddie, and she's about to, she's backing out of her driveway. Here I come in my car, and I see this happen all the time. If I live in a little narrow, not quite two-lane roadway, and Mrs. Freddie will just blithely back out, bringing me to a complete stop. And she'll kind of look at you like, why are you on my street? You know, and I have stopped people doing this in my official capacity and said, well, why did you do that? And they will say something like, well, I saw that you had plenty of room to stop. And I say, well, that's not how it works, you know. You don't do that. I don't care how much room I had to stop. I've got the right of way, folks, and you don't. If you're backing out of your driveway, you either allow plenty of room or wait for the other guy to drive past. That's how it's supposed to be done. That's a fairly simple thing. You see, people all the time will see those yield signs along the side of the road, and that's what those are for. Yielding the right-of-way means letting the traffic that has the right-of-way travel unimpeded without an action by you. If you do anything that would potentially cause this car to do something to avoid having an accident, you're not yielding the right-of-way. Next time, I'll talk about center left turn lanes. What fun, huh? Drive safe.